Pepsi and Coke still make commercials, and it's not to tell us it tastes good. It's just to remind us it's still there. Like, we're still a company. Same, right? Same. What do you do well in your market? Tell everybody that.
What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Indie Investors. So I'm super excited about today's guest. Indianapolis and just everywhere as a whole, anyone looking to do real estate investing, they're all about who should I talk to? How do I find the best sellers to talk to? Where's my data? We've got one of the data experts on the show today. It's Micah Johnson from 80/20 REI. So super excited to have him on. I think he's going to be able to share a lot of value and maybe just some tips that people don't necessarily think about when they're looking at, hey, where's my data coming from? How should I work this list? Whatever it may be, Micah's got the answer for it. So Micah, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Yep, I appreciate it. So like I said, you were with 80/20 REI. Just very briefly, kind of just give me an overview, or whoever just hasn't heard of 80/20. What do you guys do? What's your space and things like that?
Yeah. So short answer, we help investors be more intentional about their data to get more deals. That is our typical audience. So we typically work with what we call the professional investor. So someone doing more than 40 deals a year and up. To get to that point, you're typically doing something on purpose. So what we make sure for them is that the front end of their business is a well-oiled machine where the lists they're getting are already managed. They're getting quality data with a strategy and tactics on how to use it so they can effectively get deals in their business.
All right, perfect, man. I know we've kind of used the data from you guys a lot, but a lot of the questions that we get, we have like meetups and stuff around Indianapolis. A lot of questions that we get from a lot of people are like, I don't know where to start with the data. Are people overcomplicating the whole, hey, where do I get my list? Who are the best people to talk to? Like, tell me a little bit about how people even get started into looking at they should be contacting, why, when, things like that.
Yeah. So it's funny when people enter this space, they typically overcomplicate what they're trying to do. I did when I first got into it. And it's what we normally do. We just make things harder than it actually is. Where when it comes to it, depending on where you are in your business, that's what we love to try to understand is where are you in your business so that you can make a good choice for where you are, right? So if you're a young company, you haven't done it before, or you're less than 2 years old, you're typically trying to get what we call the 30-day deal, right? You don't have a whole lot of cash to sit on. So you have to get a deal that closes fast to start getting your that's your runway. Our seasoned investors that we're dealing with, they get the 30-day deal, but their pipeline is full of all of them, right? There's like this 180-day section of a real estate process where someone becomes likely to sell at a discount. It's valuable to start talking to them all along it. However, if you don't have the money to sit on and market for that long to get the ROI, that tells us where you are in your company and what you need to target. So if you're young, we recommend if your market does pre-foreclosures well, like that's a property that moves well. It's always dependent on the market and the state, what their rules are. But in most states, that's the heaviest weight someone will sell at a discount. Yeah. So if I'm brand new and I'm trying to get deals, that's a deal that'll close fast, solve a way to get it directly from your county, and then just talk to it, right? This is where it's the people part of the business, but that's how you get quality people directly from your county up front. And then the strategy changes as you grow.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, man. What about, so like, is there like a certain number? I don't know the data behind it, but like, is there a certain number of leads or like a size list that you should start out with where you're like, hey, like we've seen success where people start with at least 500 names, or is there any like analytics behind that where it makes sense, like the minimum of people you should at least build out to and start reaching out to, mailing to, calling to, things like that?
The one I know of that we use a formula in mail, right? So our system, when we build a list for you, you get the same amount of people every month. So it's not like it's not so much like a magic number, because the goal of outbound marketing is long game, right? The longer you do it, the better it works, because you're telling a story. I
Yeah.
always tell people in demos, Pepsi and Coke still make commercials, and it's not to tell us it tastes good. It's just to remind us it's still there. Like, we're still a company. Same, right? Same. What do you do well in your market? Tell everybody that, right? And don't stop talking to them. So when it comes to like, what's the magic one? So we have a formula for mail, right? If you want one deal per month on mail, we'd recommend you send at least 8,800 pieces a month if you want one deal. Now, you might be able to get better. If you got a good team, you can start getting maybe one more deal out of that. But if you're looking for like that, which one? Now, when it comes to texting and cold calling, a lot harder to make that prediction because of how much data you can use. And it depends on where they are in their process.
Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people that are like reach out to me that we all are the new wholesalers. They're like usually one man shows, like
Yeah.
one or two man shows. Um, and I always get that question. I'm always like, well, when I started, I had like $50 to my name, and
Yeah.
I had so I had like 50 people to
Well,
send
like
mail to.
if you're just getting started, shoot, go to Zillow, find anything that's been listed for more than 250 days and send it an offer. Like, if you're truly just getting started and you don't have any ways, because all we're looking for is people going through distresses.
Yeah.
When I was first learning investing, one of the people teaching me said this statement. He said, Micah, we're looking for people, not the place. People are going through the problems that own the place that we want to buy. So how do we keep track of that? That's what we look for in data, right? So when you look at, data's the definition, just verifiable, organized information, right? That's really all
Yeah.
it means. So it's this tiny word that sends people into hysterics, but it's organized and verifiable. Every county puts it out at some point, right? And then what you do is just watch it. Now, the bigger you get, that's where it gets difficult, right? Your companies that are doing, once you get over that 40 deal a year mark, right, you're doing something on purpose now. And to scale that, we're talking team, process, like it just changes. What we notice is you switch, you become a company, or you become a marketing and sales company trading in real estate versus someone that's just a quote unquote real estate investor, right? There's this switch. And that's kind of a journey that everybody goes on. And somewhere around the 2-year mark is where we see them make that choice where, my history in coaching and being in real estate, once someone does it for about 2 years, if they keep going, their chances of sticking it out are super high, because the first 2 years are kind of the gauntlet. It's the
Yeah.
proof. Do you really want to do this? Some people catch it in upswing markets. Some people don't get the taste till downswing. However, there's deals in every market. It's just understand which one you're in, create a simple process, right?
Yeah. Yeah. One thing you said there, love that. I haven't heard that before. It's the people, not the place. So,
Yeah.
I see a lot of people like starting out or even been in business for, a few years. Like they still kind of push, hey, like look for those distressed properties, right?
Yeah.
But someone might have a nice house, but you couldn't tell by looking at just their house that they're in a
Yeah.
distressed situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Um,
that person. So like
yeah.
I lived that out in my own life. And it's kind of what made all that click for me. Like, oh, wait a second. So yeah, like sometimes the outside of the house looks like what it does, but you're really looking at people, because what we've also learned is when you can connect to a customer further out, like when you're upper level company that can market, right? They can market intentionally to their lists. Those deals, the spreads you can get on 6-month deals where you have the time to create relationship and establish true value. You're not just, oh, I can buy your house in 30 days or less. Your chance to create spreads and more deals grows. Like in my own business, that's what I learned. I fell in love with the 6-month deal. They're
Yeah.
way, way simpler to deal with. I still got my 30-day deal. However, like when you start far and farm close, once I went 6 months, all I had to do was keep farming and it was always harvesting. That's
Yeah.
how we think about it. Like when you can make that switch, go out far and then work your way back. So
Yeah.
then as you hit the 2 natural market cycles there was 2 for me in Florida, I'd balance my Christmas months during my summer months, right? My summer months, I really want the 6-month deal. You get a lot of right now deals, but 6-month deals in the summer, that's priceless in the winter when that's just the natural fall happens. Now I got deals still closing. I'm not looking for that 30-day deal. That's how you get off the roller coaster, right? That's kind of that arc up. There's always a little, but if you do it on purpose, you can predict what's where and plan for it to get there.
For sure, man. You mentioned the 6-month deal, and I think that's like those long-term follow-up deals. I think that's where everyone always finds their best deals. Typically, it's the ones that they're always telling stories about. Like, man, I followed for this person for 6-9 months, whatever it was, but made all this money. It was worth it. It takes a special discipline to do that follow-up. And I know I've heard a few of your presentations before in the Collective Genius about follow-up itself. And I've implemented what you said into our business as far as like this, what you do day 1 through day 60, right?
Yeah.
And then if day 61 comes, you repeat it. So tell me a little bit about the reality of that follow-up.
Okay.
Just from what you've seen in your industry when you're meeting with people, like, are you setting expectations on, hey, like, we're going to give you this list, but here's by day 40 is when you should start seeing people like truly responding and coming out, and you should be converting these leads. Like, what's the reality behind the follow-up? What's that look like? And like, just for anyone that's listening, if they've got their mind in the dumps on, hey, these leads aren't coming back, like, what's the reality, man? Like, how long does it take to get these people converted?
Yeah. So it's actually 6 months.
6 months.
Right.
Okay.
We are true. When we bring a company on, we tell them it's a 12-month commitment, actually, because after 12 months, it's even better, but we can give you true reporting after 180 days. It's outbound marketing. It just is. It is a numbers game, but the key to it is talking to the right people at the right time on the right channel. That's that. How do you do that? That's how we think about it is, what's a simple way to stay in front of them? So that cadence that you saw, we always say it, cadence is our word. The cash is in the cadence. When we monitor the market, the way we do, there's this idea in data and marketing of, let's market to a lot of people just a few times. Spray and pray, baby. Let's send it. It's cheap. Let's get it out there. All that can harvest is the 90-day or the 30-day deal. The whole messaging behind it. You're only targeting a section of your list with a message that someone who's 30 days or less will respond to, or 45. Like, give me some flexibility on 30. Don't hold me exactly to that. It's a range of 30, 60, 90 that we notice. But ish, right? Give me some ish there on that 30, but there's a difference in there. So what you say to who and when matters. So we don't market to a lot of people once. Our recommendation, market to a few people a lot of times. We've had people tell us, oh man, it was called 97 that we made that got it, right? It was, and those tend to have deep spreads because typically what that person is going through, those are certain kind of foreclosure, or usually it's a lot of foreclosure stuff where you'll get stuff like that if you hear about them early enough and something's going on in their market and their shit or their stuff don't show up, excuse me. However, what it lets you do, and I lost my train of thought. Where were we?
No, man. You're just getting into how those leads are coming back around after the follow-up.
Yeah, sorry. We got in cadence. Okay, so let me say this. People don't get on those lists by accident.
Yeah.
Right? When someone shows up on a distress list, life has happened to them, right? We are chasing people that are going through life. Like, the true value of investors like us, we can do the nitty-gritty ground level work that actually takes care of the human being going through it. That's what we do well. That's what I always encourage people to market on. Trade on the fact that you solve their problem, not that you buy their house in 30 days or less. Like, that's only a solvable problem for a few people, where that's 1% of your list. 99% of it isn't going to close in 30 days. So what you say to them matters. That's kind of that balance where we shift the cadence. So we were saying spraying and praying. That's right. Thanks for the refresh. Spraying and praying. And then we dial it down to intentional. So let's talk to a few people a lot of times, because if you're not getting to at least 8 touches intentionally per channel, you're not even getting to like close to average. Like even like you're not doing anything on purpose yet. All the deals you're getting are just pure luck. You just happen to be hitting you were the one that called at the time when that person was finally ready to answer the phone. You can actually have control over that when you do it on purpose. So with the top section of your list, we recommend break it in 3 tiers. The top section, call them a lot each day. The bottom section, just call them a little bit once a month, right? Not very often, because they don't need to hear from you the way they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. And so when you do finally get a hold of this person on the bottom, it's not an aggressive call. You know you're calling someone in the lower section of your list. Hey, I'm Micah. You came up on my whatever list, pick one, and then go through it. We specialize in that in our market. Did you even know you're on a list? You know what? I didn't know that, right? I can't tell you how often that happens early in the process. Something's going on in their world, depending on the thing, and you can truly help them. Especially what I love about that is when you come at the right message on the bottom end of your list, all your competition's saying the wrong thing. Like they're setting you up to look like an all-star already, because they're just blasting out with, we buy cash, 30 days or less. This is what we do. This is what we do. And you approach it from, what's going on with you? I can help to the exact thing you're dealing with. If you know this specific distress point, you can speak directly to it. And that's where it gets a lot of investors nervous. Well, I want to speak to everyone. I don't want to cut anyone out. If everyone is your customer, no one is your customer, right? And if it's not proof in the way you already do it, I don't know what else is going to convince you of that, because it's once you get intentional. So we call them the tactics for our customers, where it's targeted messages, targeted testimonials, things specifically to that distressed person on your list. So when you say it to them from the first message, you have established yourself as the expert in your market. Here's who I am. Here's who I help. This is what we do. And I already know you're going through it. That's what makes somebody pick up that card or whatever piece and say, you know what? They are that. Versus, I don't need to sell my house in 30 days or less. That's not my problem, right? That's where we like to live. Take care of your market. Take care of it. It's your market. You know, you can have a tremendous impact on it.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I think a lot of people don't, maybe they do, but they forget to think that deep. And it's like a real situation. And it's like, people are doing business in a local market, like it's your reputation. It's, you want to keep that high. You want to be that person of value. You want to sound like not everyone that's always calling them. And
exactly.
I think a lot of people forget about that because they're like, okay, I'll just talk to the next person that calls me. They're not treating each lead as it's like that. But what you said, the people, not the place, right?
It's the people. If you will solve that person's problem, what happens then in your business, especially once you get to year 4 and after with this approach, your referral business becomes unlimited, because there's nothing like truly taking care of someone going through this situation. And when I got more out of just helping the people. I got paid really well. I'm not going to say I didn't, but like, obviously the people I've learned in this business that really do it well, their secret sauce is they actually care. And it starts at the beginning, right? They actually care about their customers. And then as their business grows and their customer becomes their employee, they actually care about their employee, and their employees actually care about their customers. So like that level of the way they approach it, it just switches as they grow. That's why we love to work with a professional investor, someone that's coming to us. You're shifting, you're running out of time. You're running out of data. Those are my 2 top things. And you just want better quality at bats. That is literally what I get. When that's your problem, that's where we are. That's who we help, because now you need to manage your people. The problems in your business are no longer real estate related, quote unquote. They are, how's my process working? How's my team working? How are all these functioning? We provide the peace of mind that now you're plugging in high quality stuff to get things out on purpose. And that's what we preach. We call ourselves the intentional guys. Whatever you're doing, do it on purpose and it will work better. I promise. Like, just try something on purpose. Don't do it blindly. So if you're new, get a specific list, buy one specific and learn how to market to that one. I was on a call with a company the other day. They have their whole business supported right now with just pre-foreclosures and door knocking. And they're doing 4 to 5 deals a month. All they're doing is door knocking and pre-foreclosures to
Yeah.
establish this baseline in their business. Good work. Good work. Because once you do that, now you got cash. Once you got
Yep.
cash, like then it starts the next piece so that
Then you
it's
can wait for those 6-month deals.
you can start market. So you have to afford to market to them. Like you
Yep.
have to keep marketing. Once you turn on outbound, never turn it off. Just adjust it because you have to keep being able to afford it. And that's the tricky part as investors, where we all kind of go in our own direction of willing to spend the money, understanding how to spend it wisely so that the marketing comes back. Our promise is we'll maximize your ROI on all your outbound marketing monthly once you hit a certain level, right? That's
Gotcha.
where we live, because that's where, again, it's mindset. For us, it's all mindset. That's what I love to figure out when I'm working with people is how are you thinking about it? Because if we think about it well, we can do this well.
Yeah, mindset, asking the right questions, just
Yeah.
getting, I know you use the term a lot, getting granular, right?
Yeah.
Love
How
that.
can
I
we
was,
dig in, get in it on that one thing? What's that one thing that if I can ask and get deep enough, the moment I scrape it, they'll never choose anybody else.
yeah,
Like you have firmly established yourself in their world as the professional they need.
yeah. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that, like going too deep. And I'm always like, well, what's the worst thing that would happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just not going to answer your questions, or they're just not going to respond,
Yeah.
right? So you have to try. Yeah, I mean, if not, then they're not going to see you as someone different and someone you're not going to separate yourself from whoever your competition is. So
Exactly. That's you not believing in you, not
yeah,
them not believing in you.
exactly,
Right. Because
exactly.
once you like sales and all that up front, it's counterintuitive. Like the thing you think you should do is what's going to kill the sale. Actually,
Right.
switch it around. Like keep asking questions. Most people don't ask nearly enough. Like
No.
first, man, when I did my approach when I was going into it, I just walked in, sat down, and said, "Why am I here? Why me? Why today?"
Yeah.
And let them tell me. They want to say it out loud. But so many people do not have the guts to walk in and only say 4 words.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, can you just walk in, introduce yourself, sit down, and say, "Why me? Why now?" And shut up. That's not what you
That's
think you should do. You want to walk in there and sell yourself, but no one cares. They really
right.
don't. They just want to know, do you care about them? And when you just walk in and let them talk about themselves, they'll love it. They'll just love it because no one will.
No one does
Everyone
that.
else
Yep.
wants to come in and guard their insecurity that, well, they'll know I'm new. Well, they'll know I'm this. Well, we're all humans.
Yeah.
So we all got that in common.
Yeah. um, quick final question for you here, just because it's the new hot thing. And I don't know if you've got, an answer for this, but
Uh-huh.
um, for your industry in particular, like, are you guys doing anything special with like Chat GPT or AI, or is
Oh,
there
yeah.
anything that you think is gonna disrupt the data space, or are you guys using it?
We use it actually. We use it
Okay.
personally in our business, just within our employees, how we leverage it. We also use it. We just did a class for our customers showing them how to leverage parts of our list into it to create hyper targeted messages for text campaigns. It's pretty cool. Like if you learn how to use it and make it say what you want it to say back, because you can set its tone, it's all of it. You have a tool now at your disposal where you can create hundreds of customized messages really in a short period of time.
Yeah,
Like,
it's pretty
and
crazy, man.
it is, it's a very useful tool. Like we stay open to it. I'm using I use one for work. It's called Fathom. It's a video one. But it takes my notes for me. It monitors the videos I'm on. So when I finish a demo, it tells me what we talked about. It gives me a link. It all goes in my CRM. Like everything's right there. So when anybody checks into my files, bang, bang, bang. Right. So that's where we're learning how to leverage it, like approaching y'all as like business owners. Like we're running a company too. How do we leverage it that way? Very useful internally. And then from a marketing perspective, very useful.
Yeah,
Just to
I
be
mean,
able to say things a better way that it doesn't involve you reinventing the wheel to do. Like that's what we're about. If
yep.
there's a way to do this, let's use that way to do this.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts, and we're excited about like all the tools that they're coming out with.
Yeah.
We're using it in our business as well. We're starting to, I
Yeah.
could, the more I use it, I'm like, man, like we could literally use this in every part of our business. So
Exactly. There's not one spot it doesn't really touch, and it simplifies a lot.
yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. Is there anything extra you kind of wanted to touch on? That's kind of all I had for, the questions today. I
Yeah.
know you packed a lot of value. I really appreciate that. Do you have anything, any last words or anything you want to leave our audience with?
Yeah. Wherever you are right now in your business, if you're just getting started, man, welcome in. You pay attention to the market cycle you're in, right? Don't build your emotions for this world based on where the market's at right now. It always cycles, right? Learn how to capitalize wherever you are. That emotion's not necessary all the way up, really. And that's my biggest advice right now. There are deals. Don't let people tell you they're not deals.
Yes.
When this market happens, the distresses you're looking for actually are even worse for those people. So get in front of them. People need taken care of most in markets like these. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So dig
That's
in,
awesome.
have heart.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. And my one takeaway is the people, not the place. Love it.
That's it,
I
man.
love that quote. Well, again, Micah, really appreciate it. Awesome show. If anyone has any questions for me, they can reach out to Randy at simplewholesaling.com. Micah, any questions, where can they reach you out by email?
Visit our website, 8020rei.com. They can hit me at Micah at 8020rei.com as well.
All right, perfect. Well, that wraps up today's episode. I appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you later.